Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and hopefully we are all doing great. So, we have gotten to a point where we can start doing a few projects for Kubernetes, knowing fully well that Kubernetes is used to manage microservices applications. So, we have a couple of demo applications that we are going to introduce just so you can get that first-hand experience deploying microservice applications in Kubernetes cluster. So I believe that you still have your Helm installed, you still have your EKSCTL installed, you still have your Rancher installed, you still have your kubectl client installed, and all that. So for this particular demo, you need to have an active Kubernetes cluster for your deployment. And in this case, I am using EKS cluster for my Kubernetes. I already have Helm installed. I also have EKS control installed. kubectl also has been installed. And after all of that, I have also imported my cluster into Rancher. So I'll show you that just a moment. And after all of these, we are going to deploy NGINX Ingress controller using Helm. You can refer to our class of July 16. Then, of course, we need to have a fully qualified domain name for Ingress and service discovery. Perfect. So now let's get started. So let me just show you my preparedness. You can see I have imported my cluster into Rancher. So I have 5 nodes, okay, into Rancher. And this is my cluster. If I go here, you're gonna see this my cluster. Okay, and let's go ahead and deploy our microservice application. Before we do this, I'm going to show you my fully qualified domain name. We have gone over this also, so rapidly free, and you can see this is my domain name. I have a couple of domains here, but using just the one we created for the purpose of this demo. So my domain name is called liontechapps.com. All right, so you should also have your own domain name deployed as such. Okay, so let's get back. This is the continuation of what we're doing yesterday. Okay, so already I already have my Helm repo list. You see, I already have the NGINX Ingress Helm repository. So if you come back to our documentation, okay, the first step is to deploy NGINX Ingress control. So you have to create a namespace called Ingress NGINX, and then add the Ingress NGINX Helm repository. Just copy this command and paste, and then what deploy NGINX Ingress control in the cluster. This is the command. And then what you verify the deployments and verify the services created, ensure that a load balancer is created. And after that, we are going to then deploy our application and then map that application to speak to the NGINX Ingress control. So that's all we're going to do. Okay, the documentation is right there. You won't see me coming back, or you'll see me coming back, to put the steps as we progress. So I will go working right from here. So I've already cloned this repository. I was just so repo update, because I already have the repositories. I'm going to update it. Let's update it. Okay. And then repo list to list my repositories. Okay, I can see my Ingress NGINX right there. So now I'm going to search. So search repo. My repo name is Ingress NGINX. Okay, and the search command lists all the Helm charts that you have in that repository. So just to do this. So this is my chart. Copy that, and now we are going to, according to our documentation, create a namespace. So kubectl create namespace. The documentation, this is the command, okay? Ingress NGINX is the namespace. I could just copy this and paste, but I already know that command, so it's called Ingress NGINX, right? And if you want, you can verify namespace with kubectl get namespace, and you will see that we have a namespace here called Ingress NGINX. So now we are going to deploy our application in the Ingress NGINX namespace. Okay, perfect. So now we are going to again search our repository. There we go. Provide Helm install. Okay, give the name for the release and our chart. So we saw this yesterday in class, so it shouldn't be a big deal for you to understand. And our namespace is Ingress NGINX, right? So Helm install, we're going to call our deployment NGINX, and the chart is this. You can see the chart here as a result of the search command of the repository. That's the chart version, and of course the app version we see here. So great. So this is going to deploy. If you want, you can just go straight up to your rancher, and let's look at this workload. You're going to see a deployment is coming up in just a moment. See that? So this is the deployment that we just deployed, right? So Helm has deployed this into our cluster. And we are seeing that it's active now. So we have one deployment, and then we have a port that is running. You can view logs from the port. You see that? So our NGINX Ingress controller has been deployed. And now let's also check what services were created with this deployment. So we have, this is our major service here, NGINX Ingress controller. Okay, and it was created with a load balancer. So if I go to CS Central 1, I'll go look for that load balancer, just so you know you are able to follow up and track the deployment, right? You can see how everything is, related. So CS Central 1 is loading, and we are going to go ahead to the load balancer. There you go. So you can see that we have a load balancer. This load balancer DNS name ends with 7108573, right? 7108573, 7108573. See that? 7108573. So this is the load balancer URL that was created in AWS Cloud. We have been able to confirm that yes, we have a load balancer in the cluster. So this is good. Let's now go ahead and deploy our application. So first thing first, we have already cloned the repository. So we are in our July 17 repository here. So again, you can run kubectl, get deployment if you want to, just view command line details. Okay. And the namespace is Ingress NGINX. So you can see our deployment there. And if you want again, we can view the service to see the load balancer. Okay, service again, and we can see our load balancer right there. Sounds good. So now, let us, at this point, deploy our application. First of all, let's examine this application. See into microservices, online socks shop. And let's see that. So now these are the microservices. We have a number of services here, right? We have the cart service. We have catalog, okay? And we have the database for the catalog. We have sales for the catalog. We have front end. We have orders. There's going to be payments. We have, payments. We have shipping. We have users, okay? And of course, a DB for the users. So this application has up to 28 microservices. So in a real, if you examine all of these files, you see that they all have their Docker images. So these are all what microservice applications deployed independently but speaking one another. So now I'm just going to go back here and we're going to run what? kubectl. Again, this is the command right there. In case you want to see, deploy the application. Okay, so we've done all of this. All right, so what kubectl apply -f this, right? And then we can check the application as they come up. Okay. So now kubectl apply -f microservices application, and then we can create. You see that? So this has been created, and if you want, you can run kubectl get namespace. You will see that this was deployed in a new namespace called sockshop, right? So copy that, and then kubectl get deploy -n sockshop, and you're going to see your deployments are coming up. So this is all the deployments that we have. Okay, we have our cart service, our cart DB, catalog, and catalog DB front end. We have the orders DB, we have payments, queue master, rapid MQ, session DB, shipping, user, and user DB. Again, if you just check this again, you're going to see that all the services are almost up and running. Just check again one last time. Okay, so this is going to become available in just a moment. So now, if you go back to Rancher, and we go back to this namespace here, sockshop, and then come back and refresh. Okay, you're going to see that. So all the deployments are still coming up, right? You can see our users coming up, and of course, okay, it's going to come up. Everything will come one at a time. You can see the images that are supporting this application. You can see the namespace, the name of the service, right, and of that. So again, you look at this deployment, this namespace. One of the things that we see here is that all of these are deployed as deployment. and then ports. We have 14 ports, just one application, and services. Each of these application has a service, right? So this is a service that is speaking to the outside world. And of course, this has been deployed so far as a node port, but we are going to need to go ahead and edit this service to, configure it as probably like a cluster IP, right? We don't want any other access in this cluster except through, some highly qualified and highly, configured networking, right? So this looks good to me. Again, we can go back to deployments, and you're going to see that at this point, we have all of our deployments are up and running, right? You can see screen, everything is good. So this is good. So far, the next thing we have to do is to then, create a domain name, okay? And so this is our Ingress domain name. Ingress load balancer. So we need to create an A record and map it to this, Ingress load balancer. So we go to RAP53, and we're going to click on our domain, all right? And we're going to go to create domain. And let's call this our shop socks. Shop what? Shop socks online. Online shop. Okay. We are going to create this domain name, and we're going to hit it to we're going to tie it to an alias. This is CA Central 1. Okay. And this is the load balancer that we have in our cluster. See that? 108573. Then of course we are going to route this, just create this. So if you check this at the moment, you will see that, right? So we're able to create our online shop application. A records. Oh, see that? But now, if you hit this, you won't see anything. It's 404. So if you go back here, lecture, and we go to the NGINX Ingress or Ingress NGINX namespace, look at the deployment. Okay, and let's view the logs here. So what we are going to see, this is 317. You see that? So what there should have been a request coming in, but it was rejected. See that? So that was rejected. That's fine. Okay. So we see that this traffic is not hitting. Well, actually, it's hitting, but it's not just going through as expected. But yeah, we can see that, right? So good. So far, our NGINX Ingress controller is up and running, and you have a domain name. It is giving us a 404 error, but we have to be able to hit the application. So let's go ahead and create an ingress. Okay, so go ahead now. Let's go to this namespace, sock shop namespace, and we're going to go to service discovery and go to ingress. So now let's create an ingress here. Let's call it our online socks shop, right? For now, we are going to then provide this. So copy this, provide it here, okay? Remove all of this. Okay, as Rancher is going to create this automatically. The path here is going to be implementation specific. Our service in this case is going to be front end, okay? And service will listen on port 80. All right. The last thing we do is the Ingress class, in this case, NGINX. That's it. And now we are just going to create. And at once you can see, so at 319, just successfully validated configuration, accepting Ingress, sock shop, online sock shop, right? I think we made an error anyway, that's fine. Right, so now you can see, right, this is going to start receiving namespace is sock shop, names online sock shop, blah, 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 blah. So now let's hit this. What do you see? So what we are then able to hit our application, but again, it's not secured, it's not really a big deal. I'll copy this and let's say put it in our application here. So if I hit this, we're gonna see, right, so let's register. Okay, let me access this on a different this see that the application is the application here. So if you want, we can see our catalog. Okay, we have the different features. Let's register. You can put in your name. Let's put frames what? Love it, and enter the passwords. So the users can log in here to shop. Now what? Save, and I'm logged in. See that? At this point, into home, okay, and catalog. If you want to just brown socks and apply the filters, right? And let's say you want to add this to cart. See that? So we saw the cart service that we just deployed, right? And you can see this goes to, okay, the color. All right, but now let's go back and look at the action on the Ingress controller. So all this request that we are sending, right, is hitting the Ingress controller. You can see here. See that this is the last one that I hit it. You can see catalog images. Okay, and you can see the application actually what being loaded. Right, so you can see this is the way we are going to be configuring even at work, and supply these domain names, releasing them to the customers and all of that. So it's a very, very cool thing to be able to achieve. So you can see our application is just up and running. And go back to the stuffs, we can super socks. Everything. See that? So we can see everything we have here, stay in touch and all of that. Okay, so cool. So you can see, and You can also see all the actions, okay, loading up and piling up right here on the Ingress. See, so we are going to deploy another application. Okay, it's called online shopping, and you're going to see also, okay, how we are again going to configure another Ingress. Okay, and you're going to see a lot of what will be happening in just a moment. So thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you are able to do your project. So you can see we have what the documentation here. Everything is there. So as a matter of fact, we don't even need to configure or edit the service, right? Leave it the way it is. Create the error record. Create the error record and what? Map it to the Ingress and it should be good. Okay, in as much as that's concerned. All right, thank you so much, and that is it for this video.